Coming up, retired FBI agent Dave Beisner on what's right and what's wrong with the FBI. Welcome to another Real American Heroes special edition. I'm Oliver North. Our guest today, Dave Beisner, a retired FBI agent and security contractor. As an agent with the FBI, he helped investigate the 1995 Romanian Airbus crash where 3 Americans died and proved that it wasn't terrorism. He was the case agent arresting a member of the Japanese Red Army, a terrorist organization responsible for several attacks against U.S. embassies. As a contractor for the U.S. Department of Treasury, Dave served as co-team leader providing technical assistance in the areas of money laundering, bank fraud, organized crime, and other financial crimes. He volunteered to provide security for the Armed Forces Career Center in Stanton, Virginia back in 2015 when the Armed Forces Recruiting Center in Chattanooga was attacked by homegrown terrorists. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for the invite, Ollie.
Dave, we've seen an awful lot going on with law enforcement that's just upside down. I want to just get, in your opinion, what's gone wrong in America and what's going right?
Well, I think we've become complacent over the years, Ollie, and we've accommodated ideas that are foreign to our national psyche. We've got fake news, which is continually drumming on us that we're supposed to be afraid of these organizations like Antifa and BLM, and the Democrat Party is focused on destroying President Trump to the exclusion of everything else. And I think it's very confusing to Americans that this is going on at this time because we became inured to trust the media. We believed the media, and it was a trust that was misplaced.
Dave, you spent 27 years in the FBI. As anybody following the newspapers today knows, something has gone wrong in the organization. Give us your sense for that.
Well, unfortunately, I think that FBI headquarters, the headquarters portion of it, has become totally corrupt. They've just become overly influenced by the Democrats and by the liberal media, and they have lost their way. An example of this was Abscam. That was back in the 70s. An Abscam case, we were trolling for corrupt politicians, and it just became so many, the Bureau shut it down. Rather than going after all of them that were corrupt, they shut it down with, I think there were 7 Democrats and 1 Republican. But the field offices are trying to insulate themselves from the headquarters and just do their job out in Boise, Idaho, or Cheyenne, Wyoming. They're just doing the FBI job, and there's a lot of good agents that are still in that organization.
Tell me what your experiences overseas taught you about this country and our place in the world.
Well, it has given me an opportunity to see how other countries operate and how they don't operate. But most importantly, it's the freedoms that people have lost under communism and socialism that really bring it home. There are pictures in my mind of coming into Katerinburg on the train of an evening and Russians standing 6 to 8 feet apart, not talking to one another, just rows of them. And this was conditioned into them by communism. And unfortunately, we're headed in that direction. And I think we can bring it around. I know we can bring it around. But it's kind of a rocky road right now.
I look at all the events that are going on right now, and I think 50 years from now, my great-grandchildren are going to be studying about this extraordinary time in history. There's no one alive in America today who's been through a pandemic, riots in the streets, the fluctuations in employment, et cetera, like we're seeing today. What do you want my great-grandchildren to know about what you did to protect that Constitution you and I both took an oath to support and defend?
Well, Ollie, I'd like them to think that I did the best that I could and that I was honest and honorable and I bore true faith and allegiance, and that in the times that we're faced with, that I did everything that I could. And I remember my father admonishing me as a kid. He said, personality is what you show other people. Character is what you are in the dark when no one's watching. And I hope they say that I had the character to do a good job.
Well, I'm blessed to have you as a friend, and I appreciate you taking time to join us today, providing facts that our fellow Americans can use in these very challenging times.
And Semper Fi to you all. Take care,
brother. Thank you, Dave. If this Real American Heroes special broadcast has been informative, helpful, or encouraging to you, take time to subscribe and let me know how these unprecedented events have been affecting you and yours. By doing so, you can become part of this historical record of how America persevered and once again prospered. Until next time, remember, Semper Fi, which Dave just mentioned, is more than a slogan for U.S. Marines. Always faithful is a way of life.